Hello everyone and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Happy Thursday to you all. I hope that you're having a great day and that it's starting off well. And remember, Thursday is one of my favorite days, and I hope that it continually becomes one of your favorite days because it's such a good day. You know, you're so far in the week and you're so close to the weekend, but it's just a good day. And Thursday has always been the day that I ask for prayer requests online. Honestly, I haven't done that in months, and, I feel bad, and I need to start doing that again, and I never really got a lot of responses for it, but just remember that if you ever need a prayer request, you can always send me an email. My email address is in the description box, but again, happy Thursday. I hope that you're having a great day. If your day has just started, good morning, hello. I hope that it's starting off well and that it becomes an amazing day as it progresses on. And if you're in the middle of your day or towards the end, I hope that it was great and it's continuing to be good and that it still ends well. And, just a reminder, there is always the 5-minute reset. It is 5 minutes of your time alone, at least. If you get more, take more. But you will just be able to spend some time alone, regain your peace, come back to baseline. You're kind of like resetting for the day and taking any time that you need to problem solve whatever problems come against you, but make sure that you leave that 5-minute reset time feeling at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of the day. Do not walk away from that 5-minute reset if you are still feeling like you want to throw the whole day away because of what happened. You need to stay there, practice some gratitude, humble yourself, and be able to walk away feeling at least neutral and thankful for the day. But again, happy Thursday. Just a reminder that this week we are talking about habits for happiness. And today, Thursday, we are talking about embrace challenges and new experiences. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. It might not be the first thing you think about when figuring out how to create more happiness in your life, but trying new things and challenging yourself are really beneficial in this desire, and I think it's one of the best things that helps me to cultivate a little bit more happiness in my life. Trying new things, getting out there, experimenting with new processes, new ways to do things in my life that I already do on the regular that are part of my routine. Consider that. Embracing a challenge as an opportunity for growth can help breed more happiness by giving you something to progress towards and look forward to. You'll learn more about yourself too. Self-discovery. I love it. Just like self-awareness. Self-discovery is super important in knowing how to sustain any happiness you have by knowing yourself better. So getting to know yourself better is never a bad thing. It's something that we should all be continually doing on the regular. You can really find things that we probably didn't even know about ourselves. We didn't even realize that we actually enjoyed that, or maybe we didn't enjoy that, or that's something that we need to grow and learn about, or that is like a struggle for us, and that's something that we need to work on. I don't think that we need to be shying away from opportunities of growth. And I just want you to know, I've said this in many other episodes, there is always an opportunity for growth. Do not think that you've come to any point in your life where you have reached the top. You are the pinnacle of whatever you are. You're not. You are still continuing to grow and learn and, evolve and continually become your best self all the time. If you ever come to a point where you think that you've reached your limit, I would encourage you to take some time to really dive deep and ask yourself why you're putting limits on yourself and try new things. Try things you haven't tried, because I'm for sure I know that you have not tried everything. So I digress on that. But yeah, self-discovery, self-awareness, getting to know yourself better, trying new things, it can really help to cultivate and sustain happiness. When embracing new things, it's important to have a positive outlook as much as possible, which will then trickle down into many other things in your life, and it's important. And I'm not saying, anytime I talk about having a positive attitude, I am not saying that you have to be the most happy-go-lucky person that you've ever seen in your entire life, and let's just get real. Sometimes when people are overly happy, it's kind of annoying, right? And nothing against those people, because if people are just enjoying their life so much and they are filled with so much joy and happiness and excitement for everything in their life, let them do it. You do you, boo. It's fine. But sometimes it can be overwhelming for people that are having trouble finding that happiness, or just get super overwhelmed by other people's emotions. Those are totally normal things. Not a big deal. Not judging you here. I totally understand that. But I want you to have a positive outlook, which means that you feel good about what could happen. You are ready to embrace uncertainty. And if you do struggle from anxiety or depression or anything like that, you are opening your arms and eyes and heart to working on that and figuring that out and being able to combat those things that are putting a challenge in front of you, actually challenging yourself and growing. So, you know what I mean? So a positive outlook for me is just like staying open-minded, believing the best could happen and continuing to believe that despite any negative things that come at you. But yeah, so you try new things, have a positive outlook, and then those things trickle down to everything else because you're so happy, and it just contributes to your overall wellness and growth. Embrace any imperfections in your life and see any little annoyances as challenges to keep yourself to a positive perspective, and be mindful of any negative behaviors despite any struggles, and to learn from experience as well. So I know everyone's very familiar with learning from experience, and I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to take some time to reflect on any sort of like experiences that were tough for you. You actually do know you learned something, or maybe you don't, and you do need to take the time to reflect so you can see what you learn and what you can grow from and what you can take with you in the future. Very important to do. But yeah, embrace any imperfections. If there are little annoyances, use it as a challenge. Keep yourself calm. I was just talking with my therapist about this because I have this problem where I hold grudges, and I've actually gotten a lot better over the years, but I have this mindset that there is wrong and there is right, and that injustices should not be able to just continue on and no one gets any sort of repercussion or consequence when they do something wrong, and that mindset is so tough to deal with because injustices are happening around us all the time, and it's important to realize that the world is not black and white. There is some gray space there. And so for me, I've been working on this for quite some time, but I was telling my therapist, I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? There are so many good things happening in my life right now, and I feel like that is actually contributing to my happiness and being able to handle annoying things. So keep that in mind. But, and because happiness does trickle down. But I found myself being like, man, people normally will annoy me when they are talking condescendingly to me, or, coming up with a list of complaints that are, kind of attacking and rude. But I was able to just respond calmly and move on and not let it bother me and not dwell on it, and not go down this crazy rabbit hole in my brain where I rethink it over and over and over and over and over again. Is anyone else experience this? I'm sure I'm not alone. And so anyway, I have found that those things that I struggle with, any little annoyances, people's habits that drive me crazy, I know we all have them. We are not perfect. No one is perfect. That being able to just be mindful of how you're thinking, ask yourself, is it really necessary to involve this much emotion? Should I really be this upset? Should I really let this bother me? Is it worth fighting over? Is it worth even bringing up? And just being able to move on. It's so great. And embracing imperfections in your life is super tough, especially if you are a perfectionist like me and you want everything to be perfect, so you don't do anything and you procrastinate. And then when you do have to do stuff, it's so tough because your expectations are sky high and you will never meet them because they're way too high. They're set way too high for you. And it's important to just embrace life as it is. I'm not saying embrace all the bad things that people are doing, but understand that those things exist. Do what you can to help and fix those and support the people that are helping to clean up any messes or anything like that, you know what I mean? But realize that life is not going to be perfect, and you're not going to be perfect, and every situation is going to require you to flex and bend and, reaccommodate yourself, so just remember that. And be mindful of what's going on in your mind and what emotions you are exhibiting, and ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it? I have talked about self-awareness so many times, and I'm not going to stop now. Nope. I am definitely not. Learning more about who you are and how your mind works makes going through difficult times so much easier. So much easier. I'm sure you agree. Knowing how you process negative inputs, positive inputs, confusing situations, etc., will better your mental wellness entirely. Entirely. Please remember that self-awareness is one of those things that is like a key to life. I believe that it is a key to life and that it will help you so much if you understand what is going on in your brain, your heart, your mind, how those things are connected, and anything that might be off, anything that you might need to work on, how certain things can support each other, Learning more about who you are and how things work can be so helpful because you can train yourself to not respond with anger right away or instant sadness, or, you can help yourself realize the triggers that happen that cause you to experience extreme social anxiety, like to the max, because I'm sure a lot of us have a little bit of that, but we're able to navigate the situation, but knowing your triggers and knowing the things that you probably need to stay away from right now until you can work your way up to being able to be around certain people, certainly listening to certain topics, just being out at certain places without being affected. And that's all about self-awareness. So believe me, I'm not going to stop talking about it ever, but I needed to bring it up because it is so important. It's so important, and it really will help your mental wellness entirely. And let me mention that embracing new challenges will help if you are stuck in a rut. Man, I know what a rut is. I'm sure you do too. Living your life the same day in and day out, especially if it's not fully satisfying, can really mess with your ability to continue thriving in any current happiness. Life can get dull and boring and complicated when trouble comes. And if you haven't had the opportunity to try new ways to problem solve or adjust your life to make up for any issues that come along, you will not be as happy. I can tell you that I was stuck in a rut for so long. Also, stuck in situations in my life where I did not like it at all whatsoever. I'm trying to refrain from using the phrase hated. I hated it because that sounds really strong. And if I actually truly hated it, I probably would have tried sooner and harder to get out of that situation. But I did not. So I just didn't like it. And I found myself so unhappy, complaining, feeling negative, and then trying to hide those emotions when I found that it was not sitting well with people, or I needed to mask it because it was affecting other people's moods. And, I was in a rut. And things were not satisfying. And I'm not saying that you need your whole life to be happy and satisfying and fun and the perfect thing that you've always wanted. But if you feel that you actually are thriving in life and things are going your way and you don't feel like you're stuck and you feel like you're actually moving on your journey, even if it is the smallest of baby crawls, then you still have happiness that's cultivating. You still have happiness that's there. Because you're on your journey. You haven't been dropped at on the side of the road and no one's come to pick you up yet, You haven't lost your way through the dark forest. You've finally come out on the other side. You've figured it out. And so I just encourage you, embrace new challenges. They can help you get out of the rut. They can help you to shake things up. They can help you to realize all these opportunities that you didn't realize were waiting for you right on the other side. Just right over there. Just there. Over there. They're there. You don't even know. I didn't even know. I am so happy. I'm so happy right now with my life. It's not perfect by any means. It'll never be, but things are so much better than they were. I'll probably talk about it one day soon. But just know that when you finally figure it out and you try new things and you jump out of your comfort zone, even just a couple steps, things can get so much better. So I encourage you to try it if you feel like you are just slowly sinking in cement or quicksand. Give it a try. Try something new. Also, when trouble does come and you haven't tried new things and new ways of being and growing and learning and helping others, then it will be hard for you to know how to problem solve something that's come up that you have shielded yourself from, that you have, avoided for so long because you didn't like the challenge or you didn't want to have to deal with anything new. Learning new things is tough. I understand. But it's necessary. And it's so helpful. So I encourage you to consider changing your mind on that, because it can be so helpful in the future. You just don't even know. It could open so many doors and you're not even sure. You're not even aware of, you just don't know. And the possible opportunity on the other side should really, really excite you. Oh man. Lastly, embracing new experiences and uncertainty can feel liberating and exciting. Set yourself free from any stagnation and be open to even more opportunities for happiness. This goes hand in hand with what I was just talking about. Get unstuck. Get out of that rut. Free yourself from stagnation. That is recently what I did. It's so great. And sometimes it can be scary because you're taking on like a new season of life, new challenges, and maybe you feel like you're not ready. But then sometimes you feel like you're never going to be ready, so you got to jump out of the boat. You just got to jump out. You got to just hit the ground running. Give it a chance. Navigate the newness as you go. Ask for help along the way. There's no problem with any of those things. Just fully embrace new experiences and uncertainty, and you will feel liberated. You will feel more freedom. You will be excited. You will. And I understand that those that suffer from anxiety, my hand is raised, have a lot of uncertainty, fear of uncertainty. It's there, especially right now during this time. But I encourage you to take small steps to work away from that, to become more brave, to realize that uncertainty sometimes can be very exciting because it's, again, unknown opportunities. And I understand that sometimes uncertainty is scary because you don't know if bad things are going to happen, but try your hardest to focus more on what good things could happen. And then when good things happen, it'll be great. And then if bad things do happen, it's still fine. It's still fine. You can still call in friends. You can still find help. You can still take a quick break if you need it to recoup, reset, and be on your way again. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, my name is Sabrina. Happy Thursday. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. And if you know someone else that would enjoy it, I encourage you to share it with them. And take a look at the description box down below. It has all the notes for the show. If you need like a recap or any certain points that you may have missed, maybe I talk too fast, I understand that is sometimes a thing. And you can also find out where to find me on Instagram, or my email address for any questions, comments, concerns, and my website, which has all kinds of other media that you might enjoy. So take a peek. The blog isn't up and running yet, but it will be soon. So anyway, thanks again for coming to listen to the podcast. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back for tomorrow's episode, which will be the last episode in this series talking about habits for happiness. But until then, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.